Yeah, absolutely. An insane amount of police, very heavily armored, just running into the city, running into the protests, whatever. You can see some people on the ground, you know. But we're gonna move on to France riots because I have somebody waiting to be called by me at some point. Because I told him, sure, let's do that. Well, Le Monde, but English version, because ain't no way I'm gonna live translate French. And also, Google Translate is not as good for French as it is for German. So we're gonna go to the English version of the website, and we're looking at an article that talks about Macron's gradual response to riots after the death of Niall. Maybe we should go to you first, because I don't know if you cover the whole story. Do you cover the basics? So France is on fire again. Why is it this time? Last time I heard about it, it was because of the retirement reforms that Macron was passing and making retirement, I think, start at 65 or something. I don't know, some sort of. That was the last time when Paris and other big cities in France were on fire, was around the time of those laws being passed, and generally the world was in support of that, if I remember correctly. I only saw positive feedback for this one. Now France is on fire again. It's just a regular Tuesday, it's true, but this time I feel like they have a very good reason to set the country on fire, because police killed a 17-year-old named Nael. I think it was during a traffic stop, if I remember correctly. Yes, all over the country, tens of thousands of people have taken to the streets, sometimes violently, expressing their anger over the killing of 17-year-old Nael, a teenager of Algerian descent, who was shot dead by a police officer at a traffic stop last Tuesday. So it's already a week ago, I guess. Vive la révolution! Truly, people are I feel like, personally, a personal opinion goes in there immediately. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that there's this big of an outrage about something like this happening, because I can see something like this happening in Germany, right? Because it does. It happens all over the world. If something like this happened in Germany, if police killed like a 17-year-old, yes, there would be protests, but our protests, even the Antifa protests, are usually largely peaceful. We just walk. We do our chants, and it's good to show up, and I think that's important as well, showing up and showing solidarity with victims of crimes like this, and showing that there is a voice that goes against what the police are doing and all of that. It is important, but we wouldn't be able to set this much shit on fire, frankly. And at that protest, at this hypothetical protest that would be happening in Germany, of course the police would make 700 arrests or something, depending on how big the protest was. Yeah, clearly. Why wouldn't they do that? Of course. For what? Oh, just cause they would just do that. And, what can you do? Not much. That would be what would happen in Germany for 100%. The clashes between mostly young protesters and the police have raised questions about the sheer amount of violence and random destruction. Well, seems like still, even despite all of this violence, nobody's really listening. And that's why I looked for a response from Macron, because, brother needs to say something, doesn't he, when his whole country is on fire. Another topic has also emerged, the question of how the killing of Nael and the subsequent anger spilling out on the streets is linked to systematic racism within French society and the country's long colonial past. Well, quite closely linked, I would say, probably. Discussing the story sadly shows the racism is alive and well in Europe. It so is. The fucking responses. The responses I've seen on Twitter and also TikTok, like I said, can't go to Twitter too much. TikTok and general news outlets saying they are that you will hear the most far-right racist shit in response to these riots. It's crazy, especially on TikTok. Mask off Twitter shit. Really? They say it so casually. They're talking about, first of all, it's a complete lie. I've seen a lot of people saying on social media, this is the Africans, in quotation marks, burning down Paris, burning down France, or whatever, destroying France, whatever they are trying to, hyperbole. Which is not true at all. There's no truth in that. It's absolutely deranged sort of schizo posting, and it's everywhere. Absolutely insane. Yeah, that's the tweet that I responded to. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that tweet as well. It's brother, this is literally not what's happening. Are you blind. You don't understand anything. Also, Paris is destroyed every second Tuesday, as it should be, until it's like, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, France's President Emmanuel Macron called the killing of Naël inexcusable and inexplicable. True. But what are you gonna do about it? A description Crystal Fleming, a professor of sociology at Stony Brook University in New York, disagrees with. It's not inexplicable. It's not a mystery. It is racism. Okay, true. Yeah, no, actually, this professor is absolutely right. Call him out. Call him out, Crystal. We're on a first names basis. Fleming added that the protests and riots following the deadly shots fired by police were a reaction to French racism, which is linked to colonialism. Like everywhere in Europe, right? Both, she says, are typically denied and erased from the collective memory by French authorities and politicians, despite centuries of racial oppression of its minorities and colonized populations. Yeah, France was a huge colonizer. They were absolutely huge. Same with Britain. I don't think, do British people ever talk about that? Is that ever anything that's discussed? I feel like they don't. They really, like, they sweep that under the rug as much as possible, as far as I'm aware. France is still haunted by its colonial past. It's true that France was one of Europe's largest colonial powers from the 16th century until the 1970s. That's a long time. 1970s, that's very recent. Its leaders, like many others on the continent, believed their civilizing mission justified forcefully exploiting countries and territories all over the world. While the French Revolution in they had the whole revolution and stuff, but by the way, I have a thing that gives me definitions if I double click a word. For other languages too, it's very handy. Promised liberty, equality, and fraternité, which is brotherliness, to all Frenchmen, not women, but that's another story. On the French mainland, those in the colonies could only dream of equal rights. That makes a lot of sense. Their day-to-day life was marked by repression. Men and women were forced to assimilate to French culture and language. In Algeria, for instance, in particular, France's role in Algeria in particular, has remained a very sensitive topic. It makes sense why these riots are happening. It makes sense why these riots are so intense and heated as they are. The North African country was first colonized in 1830 and then integrated into French national territory. When Algeria reclaimed its independence, a brutal war broke out that claimed hundreds of thousands of lives, mostly on the Algerian side. Yeah, no shit, I guess. And which eventually led to the end of French rule in 1962. That is not that long ago. That is very recent. Also, the Algerian, it was not long ago at all. Like, most people's grandparents know it. It's very recent. That is not that long ago when it comes to history, like, at all. Every time you see, like, a black and white photo, you think, oh, this was millions of years ago. No, it was not. It was pretty recent. At around the same time, France was forced to relinquish control of its other colonies as well, mostly due to the success of independence movements. However, some overseas territories remain until present, and the country has kept its economic, political, and military influence in its former colonies, mainly on the African continent. That's very true. I mean, that's why a lot of like African countries speak French as well. It's because they're colonizing. Current French president Emmanuel Macron has, more than any other head of state before him, acknowledged his country's colonial past as a historic crime. Good first step, but I hear he's kind of gone back on that a little bit. Or so I hear. He vowed to give back stolen artifacts and set up commissions looking into France's role in Algeria and during the genocide in Rwanda. Good. If you actually do that, that would be pretty good. But critics like Crystal Fleming claim that doesn't go far enough. France, many say, should assume its full responsibility for the past, for example, when it comes to acknowledging crimes committed during its colonial rule. However, Macron has stated that he does not intend to ask for forgiveness over his country's role in Algeria, as it would break all bonds. Okay, there it is. There it is. There's that good statement where he's like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna ask for forgiveness. That would be crazy. Why would I ever do such a thing? We just did heinous, unspeakable acts. Why would I ask for forgiveness about that? What? Yeah, a politician only doing like the bare minimum that is required of them to seem like an okay person and then immediately going back on that? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. We had some gamer moments. Everybody has some gamer moments. He should have brought out the ukulele. I mean, obviously, everybody makes a mistake. Why are you all on the toxic gossip train? What bonds? Bonds with racists? I wonder if this is like a weird translation or not. Because like, what are you referring to with bonds? Because this is, I mean, it's a translation of a statement. I would assume that he made it in French, or maybe he made it in English and he translated it weird, and that's why it's a weird translation. Because his translation was, I don't know what this statement means. The French government continues to portray itself as non-racist. Of course, governments like to do that, meanwhile acting the complete opposite. Elements of French society and school books have long argued that colonialism has its positive aspects. Holy shit. See, ours just don't talk about it at all, which not like better, but I mean, obviously France just wants to protect their heritage, right? And that's so good and fine. In 2017, far-right politician Marine Le Pen said French colonization gave a lot to former colonies. I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised that she said that. The fact that Le Pen made it into the runoff elections in 2017 and 2022 and has a chance to become France's new president shows how widespread this thinking still is. True. Very true. And not surprising because, you know, right-wing ideologies are on the rise yet again in Europe. At the same time, the French government continues to portray itself as non-racist, as Fleming. In fact, France has long portrayed itself as colorblind, our favorite thing, meaning it collects no census or data or other data on the race of its citizens. Yeah, colorblind is great. Yeah, she's our local Nazi family. She is. Le Pen really is. Gave a lot. Care to elaborate, Le Pen? Maybe elaborate a little bit. Go full mask off. I'm sure she wouldn't even lose numbers or anything. Her dad's knife was found in Algeria after the war and stuff like that. Literally, she has the closest ties to actual atrocities that you can have. Imagine the equivalent in German school books. Hitler built the Autobahn. Yeah, like, at least that's the one good thing about German education. Well, one of the good things about German education. We are very well educated on the Second World War, First World War too, but mostly the second one and the general, like, Nazi regime and everything. And obviously, they don't say that there's good aspects to it. Nobody would ever say that in school. Far-right people would certainly say that, but they're usually not teachers, because I'm pretty sure that is Volksverhetzung and you're not allowed to do that. Widespread, haha. Misheard it as how widespread, and it still makes sense. It does. She has done a great job to make herself seem less extremist than her dad, though. Oh, okay, and not to be so far right. It's so angering. Okay, so she does pander to the centrists a little bit. Except for Zecke. He is a history teacher! He is? Oh my god. Ain't no way. Imagine you went to school and fucking Zecke was your history teacher. No way. Well, not anymore, I'm sure. He was I didn't know. I did not know. Holy shit. Okay. The more you know, huh? Well, however, this is not what many people of migrant descent, like those who are now protesting, are experiencing. There's a problem of systemic racism in the French police, obviously, said Rokhaya Diallo, an author and one of France's best-known racial equality activists. The French government has repeatedly denied this accusation. Police brutality is a violation of human rights. #Nael. Yes, activists want French police to address the systemic racism. Good idea. I agree. There's another video on the riots and everything. According to the study by the Human Rights Ombudsman, young men who are perceived as black or Arab are 20 times more likely to be stopped by French police. That is a lot. Many of those young men trace their roots back to former French colonies and live in the so-called banlieues, the suburbs of big cities like Paris, Marseille, or Lyon. Yeah, where this whole thing takes place as well. We'll see the name again later, and then I remember. I mean, Macron is supposed to be a centrist, so centrists who end up voting for the far right. That's unheard of. Yeah, Macron does give off centrist energy, derogatory, of course, centrist energy. These banlieues, as author Johnny Pitts wrote in his book Afropian, notes from Black Europe, were actually a side effect of the creation of the Paris so many love and cherish nowadays. In the mid-19th century, funded mainly by colonial riches from Africa, Napoleon III commissioned city planner Georges Eugène Haussmann, God, there are so many languages in here, to create a new Paris with wider streets and better sewage system. Those with smaller budgets were pushed to the outskirts. Yeah, that is how I imagined this would have taken place, yes. After World War II, high-rise buildings were constructed in response to economic growth, which encouraged migration. Historically, these banlieues have been neglected by the French government. Nicolas Sarkozy, a former president, suggested in 2005 as interior minister cleaning the suburbs with a high-pressure cleaner. Okay. Insane. That sounds like an insane statement. I don't quite know what he means by that. Haussmann, who created the now Paris, he has a whole architectural movement. Ah, I see. Like, I don't know how he means this. I don't know what this one statement is, how you're supposed to read this. They've been neglected by the French government. Yes, that sounds like they're trying to help the people in there. But saying that you're supposed to be cleaning the suburbs with a high pressure cleaner sounds like he would just sweep out. He means it as right. Okay, that's how I read it too, but it wasn't like 100% clear for me because I don't know the man, you know. He was Pepe posting before Pepe. He really was. I'm like, who's this dude? And why is he talking like that? He was a right president and very racist. Okay, that puts it in perspective. And now I am 100% certain that I have interpreted this statement correctly. Good to know. Ever since, programs have been set up, talks have been held, but not much has changed. There it is, Nanterre. A resident of Nanterre, where Naël was killed, told DW's correspondent in Paris, Sonia Palnikar, that the French government created this situation of deprivation, adding, "I know poverty and misery, and it seems we can't get rid of it." That's a good article. Oh, do we have like a Discord thing? I'll figure it out. Hey, wanna hop on? I mean, you're literally in stream. Wanna hop on now? I'll just go into the thing, and then I'll see what happens. I love being completely unprepared for this. And we'll see if we get a guest speaker in here in a second. Hello!
Hello!
Hi. Wait, I'll turn you down a little bit. Good.
No worries.
Yes. Good morning! Hello, guest speaker.
Good morning. I have so much to say about this bullshit.
Yes, let's go. This is I have a real French person on air. You can listen to real opinions from within the country. I will figure out a PNG for you as well. Oh my God, Juno! Sure. Thank you. Juno comes in and gives us PNGs. Slay, absolute slay. Amazing.
I never went on Juno's stream as of now, so at least those will be used at some point now.
Right. I'm gonna set it up.
Good.
You can start. Where do you want to start?
Well, I can recap what actually happened and things.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of like misinformation about it.
Oh, I believe.
Basically, what happened is that Naël was like driving a car he wasn't supposed to drive because 17 and everything, and unaccompanied, and apparently wasn't his car, whatever. And so the policeman arrested him, and basically he heard one of the two policemen say shoot him, and that's why he decided to go, because he didn't want to die. So the policeman shooted him, and basically it started a whole thing of like, oh, you refused to stop, you refused to like talk to the policeman and stuff. But no, the actual thing is like he fled because he was scared for his life. And so this whole movement started of people being annoyed and very angry and stuff about him dying, which as they should, because there's like this whole history of police going into suburbs and stuff and raiding the houses, beating up people. Like I don't know a single person that has lived in a suburb that hasn't had to deal with the police and doesn't like respect any of them, because they have history of either people close to them or their family having their house be raided for absolutely no reason. And like be beat up and stuff. And so people were like went in the street, and of course since this time it's a lot more POCs like Arab and Muslims and black people then it is white people. What they are doing is that even though there's a lot less people, they're bringing in twice the police as far as the retirement things. They're bringing helicopters, which I showed you because I had one over my house the other day.
Yes, I did see the helicopter. It's insane.
Yeah, and like they're bringing in actual like either like a branch of the army or like people that deal with terrorism usually to like with like actual gun and stuff. Like people have had their arms dislocated. Because what the riots are is that they are getting a lot more violent than they used to during the other movements, which it makes sense because those are people that have had to deal with a lot more violence from the police. So of course, like, they're going to be violent.
Yeah, and I mean, if like Macron sends in 40,000 police officers,
yeah,
how is that not going to
exactly.
make it escalate? That's so dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, for a lot less people as well, like in the streets and stuff. So they've been like breaking shops and burning like towns hall and burning cars and raiding shops and stuff. And so like it has become to Macron has said a thing along those lines of like, oh, it's because of the video games, like inspired by video games and stuff.
You can't be serious. What the fuck? Yeah, totally. Yeah. This is video game based, obviously. Sure.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. And what has also happened, which you said earlier, so I can actually tell you the full story for this, is that they had done 2 Kickstarters. They had done a Kickstarter for the cop's family, and they had done a Kickstarter for Niall's mom and family. The one for Niall's mom and family has gotten taken down.
Jesus.
And the one for the cop's family is at $500,000 euros.
What the fuck? Dude, why would you're just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry you murdered someone. Here, have €500,000. What the fuck? I hate people. Oh, I hate this so much.
And so right now, like every time there's riots, a lot of people are being like unfairly judged and unfairly put to prison. Like they're pushing to make sure the most people possible go to prison. Even people that were just literally out in the streets at that time. Like there's literal videos of certain people like just like not looting, not breaking anything, like just picking something off the floor that has come from a shop or something, and they are getting sent to prison with prison sentences.
Jesus. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I can see that.
So... ACAB, indeed.
Yes, indeed. It's insane. I mean, they also try to enforce a curfew, as far as I know, right? In some places.
Yes, there's been curfews in multiple towns. That go from in between like 9 to 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And also, like, there's a rule I didn't know. And also, I'm not sure if it's actually supposed to be enforced or not, because I've seen people be like, oh, for minors, it's like this time to this time, and for adults, it's this time to this time, or like, this is only for minors and stuff. Because, of course, a lot of minors are going in the street. It's literally someone that was their age that died.
Yeah.
And apparently, supposedly, if you're out after 10 p.m. in France as a minor without an adult, it's illegal, which I never heard of and never seen enforced before. But they're taking that to make sure that, like, kids are being sent to prisons, basically.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah, so that's what's so
grim. It's so fucking grim. Like, it's just sad. Because I feel like... Yeah. Brother, like if I was Macron, first of all, I wouldn't be, obviously. But what makes you think that sending a lot more police is going to de-escalate the situation at all? Like, aren't you're supposed to? I don't really know what you could do, but you reform the police, but certainly not that. That's like the last thing that you should do, I think. Obviously, that would escalate the tensions.
We have that, like the UN that has called out France's racism, and Amnesty has said that. Like police violence in France is at the point where it has like ticked in their thing of like that should be shut down.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, and also as a fun thing, so Niall's mom has been like very loud and very there about the death of her son, which makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
And since she's seen smiling and stuff with other protesters, people are criticizing her for not grieving properly and not being a good mom.
Yeah, optics policing and that sort of thing is amazing when they come out with that sort of stuff, like, oh, you're not grieving properly, you're not doing it correctly. Like, shut the fuck up, you didn't just lose your child to police violence. Sit down a little bit, okay?
Like, a lot of far-right activists and stuff are like posting videos and pictures of her being like, look at her, like, she's smiling, she's clearly happy, like, that's not a good mom, like, to justify basically her son's death and everything. It's horrible.
Yeah, the reaction from the far right has been insane. Like I talked about earlier as well, with them
Yeah.
talking about how the Africans in quotation marks are burning down
Yeah.
France. That's not what is happening. You are so
It's
obtuse.
especially when you know that like the only reason was as quote unquote Africans here from the first place is because we brought them here
Yeah.
to make do the jobs we didn't want to fucking do, or because they were like slaves and stuff to French people in colonialism, and so they brought in with them. Like they're not here because they're like, oh, fun, my
Oh
country
hell
isn't good
yeah.
enough, I'm going to move. I mean, of course, there's some people that just move because they want to move, but
Yeah,
like
but that's
most
the
people are
minority.
here,
Yeah.
yeah, going to countries they don't know the language of, that they know they'll have a hard time finding a job in, and everything. They don't come here because it's fun. They come here because they have to. Like,
Yeah, and then it's always, I don't know if that is I'm sure that's also a current sentiment in France right now, because German weird old people always say, oh, you should be grateful that you get to be in this country, and don't you
Yeah.
dare like misbehave,
Yeah.
or why are you rioting if you are in this country, or dumb shit like that. It's like, first of all,
Yeah.
not everybody makes the choice to be here. A lot of people are refugees. A lot of people,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, they kind of have to be here to survive, and you can also enjoy living in a country and still find aspects of it, or even big aspects of it, very, very bad, and go out on the streets and try to make a difference for the country that you're living in. I think that's the
Yeah,
best thing you can
exactly.
do for your fucking country, actually.
Also, they're acting like Africans and Algerians and everything. All those people are French. All
Yeah.
those people are like second,
Yes.
third generation French. They have French passports. They have French IDs. They have French people. They have French citizens. That's French people rioting against French law.
Literally.
It's just as valid as a white person doing it.
Literally, yes. And I mean, also in the videos that I've seen, I see a lot of just white people in the riots as well. It's not like it's
Yeah,
only
exactly.
like people of African descent doing it either. It's just what the
It's
right
sad
wants to portray it
because
as. Yeah.
it's a bit sad because, of course, like it shows that like a lot of the white left isn't coming to those riots, was they were going for like other stuff. But
Yeah, it's a whole situation. And Macron,
yeah,
is there any like new responses? Like, does he have
I
any
don't think
idea
so.
of dealing with it? Like,
I've only seen like the video game statement.
I mean, you've seen the
Which
most
is
important one.
fucking wild. But to be honest, like anytime he says anything, he doesn't say much to be like, he just says more racist or like insulting shit. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Not much else to be as expected from Macron there, I suppose.
like during the retirement stuff, all the shit he said was basically just that like it was a minority, even though just millions and millions of people in the streets, it was a minority, and like he won't come back on these petitions and stuff. And that's the thing, right? It's that we've done like huge peaceful protests. We've just been met with police gassing people and trying to shoot people and trying to hurt people. We've done protests that were to the same level as them, like just basically fighting by, like I showed you videos of like a tractor. Is it a tractor in English as well?
Yeah.
A tractor like going against like huge like water cannons and stuff. I've sent you those videos because like policemen were using like huge water supplies and water cannons, even though we were told to not use too much water because of climate change.
That was so fucked. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, to go against people in the street and stuff. Of course, like people, especially the ones that have to have dealt the most with police violence and know how far they can go. Of course, those people are going to go to violence more. Like they see that nothing else works and they can't trust anyone in the system to make sure justice is served. Of course, you're going to go to fucking violence after that. Like they're burning town halls, they're burning town hall and making sure like and cars and stuff. Like yeah.
What else are you left to do? If peaceful protest doesn't work, you gotta do something. You cannot just like lay down and take all of this aggression from the police. They're not peaceful either.
No, exactly.
They've
like,
never been.
And you go back to stuff like in France, we had a big movement in '68, in May '68, that was basically for rights for students. I think it was something along those lines. I'm very bad at history, and I can't always remember what exactly it was. And it's like a movement that's always like upheld in France. It's like, oh, we made stuff change and stuff. That movement was also very violent from their part. Like suffragettes, even though they had their faults and everything, but they were posing bombs everywhere to make sure they were heard.
Yeah.
Like there's no social movement that happened that succeeded that was peaceful.
That is
because
so
they
true.
don't let that happen.
Yes. literally. I mean, France should know that the best with the French Revolution and whatnot. Like, you guys are proud of that. Your fucking national anthem is the Marseillaise. It's like, well, I don't know about all that violence here. That's also what I hate from more centrist-leaning people, or also more centrist-y leftists who are like, well, but I don't know why you are burning down the shop. It's like, nothing helps. This is like collateral damage. That's also, it's not like they're not like out killing civilians or anything. That's not the goal of the thing. Exactly. It's just property damage, which is done to hurt the fucking like government and not like individual people.
Yeah, exactly. It's the thing is that like it's just an like outwards rage against the government, and a lot from kids apparently, especially. And it makes sense. Like, those people have had to deal with police brutality and police violence their whole life. And it's, once again, because it's not the first time, it won't be the last time. Once again, a kid got killed by police or got harmed. Like, a few years ago, we had, like, kids that got sodomized by police officers with their, like, batons and stuff. Like, we have this kind of shit so often that Black and Arab and Muslim kids have to go through. And, like, of course, they're going to be excessively... Like, we had a kid... not that long ago in the city I live in that died because he had like a heart attack or something like that, and no one acted. Like, other kids tried to act. It was during an exam session.
Oh yeah.
And other kids tried to save him, and none of the adults acted because they thought he was pretending. Of course, he was Arab and Muslim. Like,
of course, yeah, that would have never happened if the kid was white. Yeah. No way.
Like, that happened a few months ago. Like, you have those incidents that are repeated and repeated and repeated of the system not protecting those kids. Of course, they're going to try to fight back. Like, that just makes sense.
Yeah, it's honestly a logical reaction. Yeah, it's not inexplicable like Macron said or anything like that, or he can't explain why this is happening. It's such a mystery to him. I'm sure it's a big mystery.
This country with a huge history of racism and violence doesn't understand why people are angry about racism and violence.
Yeah, right? Very odd. We're still trying to rack our hands about that one. Well, maybe one day we'll figure it out. Good luck on that, Macron.
God, yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for talking about this with me. I'm very glad to have a voice from the inside so we can just vent frustrations.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's a fucking mess.
It is a mess. Well, I hope it'll lead to change eventually. That's the only thing we can hope for, I guess. One day. Somebody.
I don't keep my hopes up too much because, like, I thought something was going to happen with the retirement ones because they were so massive and nothing happened. We just ignored it and went away. So I don't know if something's going to happen with those ones.
Yeah, I also can't see it, but always gotta have some hope at least that one day the switch will flip and things will actually get better instead of getting worse. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but it's the thing is that, like, I've seen people talk about it and I didn't know this, but like French police, the French national police that we have right now, its origin comes to World War II and. And the French occupation and who was in charge at that point. So at its birth, it is a far-right thing. It's a far-right institution. It doesn't need to stay. Like, the only thing that would make it better and make it, like, advance would be to dismantle the whole thing and come back through zero, which, honestly, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I wish it did. So that's the thing, is that as long as it still exists in this form, there's very little change of it. Chances of it actually changing.
I mean, same here. I feel like that's a very pervasive problem in all of Europe and any like country that has police. It's so in Germany too. There's like many groups of far right extremists in the police. It's like a lot of them. I don't have a clear percentage, but many of them. Just gotta dismantle the whole thing. But like, is that gonna happen? No, of course they don't want to make that happen. So
exactly.
It's a tad bit rough, isn't it? Well. Have a good day anyways, go on with your day. Have good travels later, I hope your travels go well and without delays and all that stuff. No, that's good.
It should be fine.
All right.
I hope you have a good day too.
Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of stream.
Thanks. I'll cover some more. Well, I mean, I have some TikToks to look at from this as well and stuff like that. But yes, I'll cover some more less devastating stuff as well, I think. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Yay, news day. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming on. Bye. He's left. He's gone. I'm disconnecting. I need to put his PNG off of screen because I just slapped it on there. Boop. There we go. Thanks, Evan, for guesting on stream so on short notice. It was very informative. It's good to have somebody who's like, you know, in the material. If you live in France, of course, you're going to hear all the French news and everything and be up to date with that. And of course, all of my friends are linksgrün versifft in their respective countries. So they are leftists and they know what's going on and they're politically engaged. Very fun. Very good vent. Thank you. Thank you. We have some TikToks I wanted to show you. We'll just skip the Le Monde article because I'm sure it probably says generally the same things. It was more about his response and all of that. I'll scan it real quick if there's anything of interest in here, but we've talked about this for long enough. Are you? Ugh, Le Monde. Arrête. Please. God, I hate news websites. Well, okay. Well, he's still considering how he's gonna deal with it, I suppose. Maximum of trouble. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll give you an update in next news day. It's gonna be Friday. How he has dealt with it, when he decides to deal with it at all, or if he just lets it peter out naturally. Because, you know, the riots, of course, you can't keep up that power every single night. So I'm bringing you images right from the ground from a couple days ago as well, over on TikTok. This is on TikTok, and it has a lot of views, so there shouldn't be... I'm fairly certain there won't be any, like, gratuitous violence or anything like that. I'm gonna turn the volume down a little bit more. But, as you can see, the tensions in Nanterre, après la Marche Blanche, a lot of police officers have been deployed to this, what is basically a suburb. It's insane. You have spicy lunch. Enjoy your spicy lunch. Look at how many of them are running around. Also very interesting, but maybe not worth saying anything about, is that the reporters are always like right next to the police. Like, why are these people that report... Okay, that was a very short video. Why are these people that report on TikTok, that are filming on TikTok, always like right next to them? Isn't that dangerous? I mean, I guess it is. But why aren't the police attacking the people with the cameras? I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't. I feel like they would in Germany, but I don't know if it's just different sort of sentiment to people filming. That's a little question I have in my mind, but it's not an important one. So as you can see, a lot of police has been dispatched. Yeah, this one is pretty insane. This is in Paris. This was a couple of days ago. Just somebody filming huge groups of people running around. Also, definitely caused by the police storming in there. Yeah, they're supposed to be safe from police because press, but they have done, they have done last riots. Yeah, I bet the police will not just accept that every time. This is just... I saw this video randomly, and it's basically just the police running into the masses. I wonder what's going on there. But it just shows you what's happening over there. I found it quite interesting. Like, look at the sheer amount of them. Look at the sheer amount. Yeah, they just do that to disperse groups. Yeah, that makes sense. It was one of the big things last time, police hitting the press. I bet they would.
Shit.
I'm surprised they don't do that more often. I feel like they would do that a lot. Yeah, absolutely. An insane amount of police, very heavily armored, just running into the city, running into the protests, whatever. You can see some people on the ground, you know. This is about... You're a bit loud with the music. I don't think I need your music. This is talking about how public transport has been targeted by the riots as well. Like buses and trams and such. They're burning, they're burning them down. Jesus, that bus, yeah. They were like buses driving on fire. Like, I don't know. This bus just drove through the fire. No idea where it was heading. No idea who was operating it. Just some impressions from the ground, I guess. A lot of subway and public transports are closing because of the riots. I mean, understandable. You don't really want to be out there if you don't have to. But I mean, people still have to go to work, right? Numerous lines of service have been stopped. Well, obviously. And they're not going to go to certain cities anymore because the tensions in the cities are so high. I've seen a lot of videos recently also from Strasbourg, which I was surprised by because I feel like Strasbourg is so far north that there wouldn't be that much happening up there. I don't know. They're too close to Germany and the Germans are too passive. But no, there's still stuff happening in Strasbourg and such. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna rebuild the public transport system soon. I know us leftists, we really like Strasbourg is a nice city. I've been to Strasbourg before. It's very nice. It's a big city though. Lots of racists and leftists there. Yeah, any big city will have conflict. It makes sense. Germans passive? What? Well, in protests, we do. I feel like we don't hold a candle to the French. Yeah, there's sometimes you hear about German protests going hard, but I feel like they don't happen that often. This one I saw, and is there music behind it? Yes. Hence why we don't need to hear it. There was protesters building a wall on the highway. Now this, that's pretty nice. Last time Germans got aggressive, well. But we don't want those Germans to get aggressive again. But they are. We have AfD news coming up. They're just building a wall. Saying y'all are passive because compared to the French is not fair. Well, yeah, okay, that might not be fair, but currently we are covering the French, so therefore it is a little bit fair, since it makes sense as a comparison. I think this one Strasbourg? No, it's also Paris. Oh yeah, I remember. The police was basically in retreat in this video. Which is why I wanted to show it. French has a whole revolution named after them. Well, yeah, they do. I'm sure a lot of other countries do as well, no? Or is it just France? Look, they're backing off. There they go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I feel like the police are they look very incompetent in a lot of these videos, which, you know. Look at these fucking dudes with their cameras just walking right in the middle of these conflicts. I don't understand. Journalists are crazy. Shields, they should get shields as well like that. I mean, these guys have them, you know, equal playing field. Shields and spears and whatever. The cameraman's just walking right in front of them. I don't know. They have a lot of confidence in their ability to survive. And I mean, they do. They do. They are the police exam is a joke. It's level for 13 to 14-year-old exam. And you don't need anything. Most of those props don't even have qualification to be police. Honestly, they look so incompetent in all of the videos that I see. They're just kind of running around. They're not organized. They don't know what they're doing. The only reason that they're like at an advantage, of course, because they're backed by the state and they have a lot of equipment. They have those shields. They have their little like batons and everything. But in practice, in their training, you can absolutely see that they have no idea. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just kind of like running around, and they keep getting backed into corners by protesters. This tweet isn't really. It's not really like pertinent to know about, but I found it fun. Abat le caviar. Caviar? Do you say caviar? Or I guess so. Vive le kebab. I agree. Kebab tastes a lot better than caviar anyway. Have I ever had caviar? No. But I'm sure that kebab tastes a lot better because kebab is literally like the food of the gods. What else could you ever possibly want if not kebab? So I agree with this sentiment there. Agreed. It's a good sentiment. And that wraps up our France segment. Jesus Christ. Thoughts go out to anybody who's in France right now. Unless you're the police, then my thoughts don't go out to you. You know, you can quit. It's an option that you have. This is actually, if anybody is police and is watching this for some reason, you can quit. It's okay. You can quit. You know what these people can't do? They can't quit being Arab or looking like they're Arab and being unfairly targeted. They can't quit that. But you can quit at any moment and point in time. You can just quit being a police officer. That's an option that you have. I assure you that is legal and that is fine, and you should totally consider it. Thank you. Wouldn't more leftist center police officers be good though? Not under the current system. Because the system itself is what's corrupt, right? Like, the way the police is structured in and of itself. They would have to do a lot of reforming before we could have, but we would need a lot of reforming before any sort of police is a positive thing, even leftist or centrist police officers, because you're gonna get corrupted. Yeah, the system is too corrupt. It corrupts the people with good intentions. It really does. It really does. The people with I know that there can be people who have good intentions who go into the line of work of being police, but in the end they're gonna be in the same positions as the other police officers are. If police is sent to arrest people in a peaceful protests, they're still gonna cooperate with that, or they quit. That's their only options at that point in time. We need until we don't have a new system, don't be police. Just don't do it. It's a very easy thing not to be police, truly.